let's talk. I wasted every f***ing moment of my 20s. Literally every moment of my 20s. Why? I'm going to seriously try to get through this video without being silly, but y'all know that's probably not really possible with me. So if you have not been here before, my name is Tony. And if you have been here before, then you know you about to get a dose of craziness in this video because that's just how I am. But enough with all that. Let's go ahead and talk about why I feel like I wasted my 20s. So the silver lining out of my 20s era, I feel like, is my husband and my kids. I got married in my 20s and I had kids in my 20s. Back to back to back. My 20s was filled with, you know, like I said, doing the marriage thing, having kids. I got married young. I got married at 21. I was a baby. So you already know I had a lot of projections put on to me about, you know, how I should be, how I should do, even prior to me getting married, you know, fresh out of high school. Like, let's just think about that logic for a second. You know, we're 18, we graduate high school. We like, oh my gosh, I'm ready for life. Like, what you got for me, life? Because I'm ready for you. You know, when you're 18, you feel like you've grown. You feel like you can just tackle the world, you know, at that point. But a lot of the times, what happens is, you know, we have our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, aunts, and, you know, a plethora of other, you know, family members saying, oh, you know, well, what are you going to college for? Like, I feel like, it's funny because I just talked about this on another video. I feel like I'm in that age demographic, and I'm not even about to sit here and tell you if I'm a millennial or Gen Z. I don't keep up with it. I'm 31, if that tells you anything. But I do feel like I was on that age, that I was born in that era that was like, some of us were told, or not some of us, but we were still told to like have the white picket fence American story where, you know, you go to college, get married, you know, have a baby, buy the house with the white picket fence. That was like one side of it. But then I also feel like I was in that age demographic where we questioned everything. Like, well, why do we have to do this? Well, why are things set up this way? Well, who said that I'm gonna do it that way? Let me just Google it. I'm gonna Google it real quick. Okay, I got it. So I'm a millennial baby. I'm a millennial baby because I was born in 91. And then you also have the Gen Z babies that were born in 95. So here's what I was saying. I'm born in 91. The cutoff for millennials is 94. So that's a 3-year difference. Then you go into the Gen Zs where you are 1995 and above. So this is what I mean when I say I was kind of like on that cusp of, you know, I was raised to like, you got to go to college straight out of high school. You got to, you know, have this American dream story. And then you got the Gen Z. I had to double check. You got the Gen Z, you know, generation over here. We're like, no, like, we gonna figure it out. We gonna, you know, make our own way, so forth, so on. So, you know, I struggled when I was 18 because I kind of felt like I had that inner spirit, like, that I just want to do what I want to do. I want to figure it out. But then I had, you know, everybody in my ear saying, no, you got to go to college. So, you know, we get drilled with that at, you know, 18 years old. Well, then what happens is we get projections. And that is what I mean when I say that is the #1 reason why people feel like they end up wasting their 20s. We take on projections from other people on how we should live our life. And that is exactly what I did. Now, I'm not saying that you can't take, you know, some guidance from family members, mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, grandma, Gigi. You can take all of the advice that you want to, but when it becomes a problem is when those projections are so heavy on you about what you should do in your life, and then you take them on, you always question yourself, well, what if I could have, you know, done this earlier on? What would have happened? So that is pretty much how I wasted my 20s. And here we are at 31, and now we're just getting started with the whole process. This is why I wanted to make this video, because I am not alone in this, you know, in this era. I'm not alone in the feeling of feeling like I wasted my 20s. Now, you know, I sit back and I look at a lot of these like YouTubers. Like, I watch a lot of the beauty lifestyle inspo girlies out there. When I say some of these girls is like 24 years old, you know, with these nice apartments, houses, their dream car, like working with all of these amazing brands. And I felt like, especially in the last 2 years when I had kind of branched out, and I was like, no, you know what? It's never too late. And we're going to touch on that in a second. Okay. I started looking at these girls like, well, dang, you know, these are women younger than me who have figured out kind of, you know, where they fit in life. And I think the biggest thing of it is feeling or recognizing that you don't have to fit in a perfect piece of the puzzle. Sometimes you got to take your little piece and make your own puzzle. I'm just saying. When I watch these, you know, these YouTube girlies, the inspo girlies on Instagram and all that, I'm like, oh my gosh, they are killing it. The problem with projection and when we feel like we start living our life for somebody else's approval and their validation is we don't get a chance to kind of figure out who we are as individual people, because a lot of who we are has been shaped by everybody else's opinions. A lot of, you know, those experiences that we wish we could have had or that would have probably helped us later on in life, example, like helped me at 31 years old, I could have possibly already went through, but I allowed that, you know, seeking somebody else's validation and seeking that approval to stop me from what I really wanted to do. Because quite honestly, I always wanted to create, like even as a little girl, I always knew I was going to be some kind of creator. Started really thinking about it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's YouTube. Like you can pretty much create whatever you want. You can create a movie out of, you know, your vlogging, traveling, whatever you're doing, out of your life, period. You can make it look like a movie. That's what I want to do, baby. But again, I let myself get held back from fear, and I held myself back of, again, trying to seek that approval and that validation, because everybody was like, you need to go to school, you know, what are you majoring in, and blah blah blah. Now here's the thing, I am not knocking anybody for going to school, definitely not doing that, but I just know I was not going to school. Actually, I went to school for 2 years and I flunked out. School was just not my forte. It never was. But again, I knew that I wanted to create. I knew that I wanted to do something with my hands, build, use my own imagination and kind of just create. And, you know, do I feel like I wish I would have done that sooner? Hell yeah. What the hell? Yes, I do. I probably would be in a totally different position. Okay, again, I'm 31. If I would have started this, you know, 2009, 2010, like who was I watching recently? Jackie Aina. If you guys don't know her, she started off with beauty, lifestyle, but I believe she said she started in 2009. In 2009, I graduated high school. Do y'all know where I could have probably been 10 years? Yeah. Do I always play the woulda, coulda, shoulda? Yes, everybody does. I don't have no shame in that. Everybody plays the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Do I think that I would be somewhere totally different had I started my YouTube journey in 2009? Yes, most definitely. But I'm here now. And that's why I wanted to touch on the subject of it's never too late. Like, yes, we feel like we waste time. Yes, we feel like we, you know, could have done things differently. But here's the thing. I truly, truly believe, first and foremost, I am a believer of the Most High. I don't know which faith is. I don't need, this is not a religious-based channel, but I'm saying this to say, I believe that everything is aligning itself in my life the way that it's supposed to. Was I supposed to start my YouTube journey and my content creation journey 10 years ago? No. Even though, yes, I know that I could have started it back then, but here's the difference between me in my 20s and me in my 30s. My mindset is totally different at 31 than it was at 21 or 25, or get this, even at 30. I just really had to do a deep cleanse of my mind. I had to do a deep cleanse of what I thought I was capable of and what I thought I could, you know, achieve in my life, because I feel like that's one of the biggest battles that we face too, is we'll tell ourselves, oh yeah, we can do it. Like with this whole lucky girl syndrome thing that's floating around, I am the luckiest girl in the world. Okay, well, you can say those things all day long, but do you believe them? And that's, you know, that's the biggest thing that I had to overcome, was really and truly asking myself, am I capable of doing this? That was one of the biggest reasons that I did not start my YouTube journey before, because it was like, in my mind, I'm telling myself, oh, you can be a YouTuber. But I was also kind of battling myself like, you can do it, but it's not going to go anywhere. This would have been infused with negativity. So I'm grateful that, I'm starting now. And I'm grateful that I really had to go through reprogramming my mind. We're all going to feel at some point in our life that there was time wasted, whether that be a day, whether that be a couple of months, whether that be a couple of years. But is it though? Like, is it really a waste of time? Or is it really that you just needed to flourish in other areas of your life first before other areas took off? To erase that, me seeking that validation. I was so bad at wanting the approval of my parents, even up until my mid-20s. Like, you would have literally thought that my mom and dad's words were like straight from God, as if they were God, and they were not. Now, granted, I know that they just wanted to see me do the best in life, because that's what a lot of parents want for their kids. They want their kids to far exceed what they accomplished in their life. They want their kids to do, much more. Me and my husband, again, we got married young. I was 21, he was 23. My parents got married roughly around the same age, but they got divorced. And so a lot of their, their talks and encouragement were coming from a place of love, but they were also coming from a place of experiences, and what they dealt with. But sometimes you have to choose having your own experiences. Even though you're taking advice from other people, it's always okay to accept it. But sometimes you got to be like a shifter, one of them little kitchen gadgets. You got to filter the information through. So you have to filter it through, leave what you don't want inside the shifter, and whatever else falls out, that's the stuff that you really need. That's the stuff that you can sit and think on after that. I had to really just make sure that I was shifting all of the information that was coming through, because I appreciate hearing experiences from other people, but my life, I have to experience on my own. If you're like me and you feel like you wasted your 20s, you feel like you constantly, sought out the validation of everybody else, and that you were afraid to, step into your own light. Look here, I was deathly afraid of putting myself out there. We know that it is, filled with everyone. And sometimes you do have to, fight through the barriers to try to get yourself seen. I get it. I'm here with y'all. Clearly, I'm doing it right now. I was definitely afraid of putting myself out there, being vulnerable, being transparent, and allowing myself to be judged. But that is the best thing that I've learned. And thankfully, I did start to understand that in my late 20s. I didn't know it all, but I began to understand it. So that time, by the time I turned 30 and I started really seeing, how I was developing as a woman, I was like, oh no, we have to change this, because this is not the kind of woman that I want to be in life. I don't want to be this woman that is afraid of her own damn shadow. Like, no, I don't want to be that. So I had to figure out the kind of woman that I wanted to be and say, look here, I'm going to change everything. Like, I'm going to make a complete 180 from where I was in my 20s, baby. Because 30's about to be on and popping. I'm just saying, it's about to be on and popping. No, but I'm dying like dead serious. Like, I encourage you to really shift your mind, because I know things are going to happen for me. Like, I am that confident that I'm like, I know things are going to happen. And if you are not that confident about your future and how things are going to look for you, you need to do some more self-work, okay? Because there should be nothing or no one that can tell you at this phase of your life that you aren't capable of doing what it is that you're trying to do. You have to make the choice. Everything that we do in life comes down to a choice. You are choosing to live your life with other people's projections and how they think your life should look, or you can choose your own path, regardless of, if it's gonna have fallen rocks and ridges and, rainstorms and all that. It's still your journey, and you'll never know what it's going to look like as you go down if you're not willing to start. My path has been rough. I've had to learn a lot about myself. I've had to transition in a lot of ways. And even though things have not popped off just yet, I am close and I know it. As long as you're willing to walk down the journey or the path, excuse me, Lord, I'm just all over the place. If you are willing to walk down your own path and really go through your journey, you'll never know how things can transform in your life. So you could be the next big YouTuber because, baby, that's what I'm claiming. Let me stop playing with y'all because I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Honestly, for real, comment down below if you felt like you experienced that same kind of thing where you feel like you wasted your 20s and you know how life has transitioned for you in your 30s. I really want to see what has helped other people because you know everybody has different methods and different approaches, but they could be helpful for somebody else as well. So don't forget to drop in the comment section below. And if you already been here before, you will know I got to drop an M, but if you have not already, I always put it at the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button below, baby. And also make sure that you are hitting that notification bell as well so you can see when my ass is going up on my channel, okay? Because we here. And I want you to be here with me because I want to share some information and I want y'all to share some information. And then I just want everybody to learn and grow, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm done. I'm done for today. I'm done. I promise y'all. But I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to come back and rock with your girl. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.